Hey guys, it's YB. So today I wanted to talk to you about editing, video editing specifically because I am a video editor and I know you guys have a lot of questions regarding editing. Today's especially going to be focused on without a recipe because I've been editing that for I guess a month now. As you have noticed on Try Guys channel, a lot of without a recipe episodes have been coming out every Saturday. My ice cream episode would have just come out. It was my very first time working on without a recipe and it was a lot to learn. It was a lot of cameras and just crazy timelines, but I got through it finally and I want to share with you guys the behind the scenes of it and also answer your questions about editing because I haven't really done a video yet that's like really specific to editing, and I want to just share some tips with you guys. And obviously I almost said I'm not a professional editor, but I guess I am. But obviously everyone's editing style is different and I don't want to say this is the right way to do anything, but for me all these things have worked out really well and I want to share with you guys some tips. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the without a recipe project as kind of like my base to show you how I do the workflow, and after I go through everything I'm gonna answer your questions that you left on my Instagram page when I asked you guys to ask me any editing questions. Alright, so let's look up this without a recipe project. So I'm gonna share with you guys 4 main tips throughout the video that I would really recommend in editing. And the first one starts right now, it's organizing. So before you even start the project, as you can see, I already have this program here, without a recipe ice cream, and our assistant editor Will does a really good job organizing all of this. So we have like a specific format we follow in each project. So you can see in the projects we have the actual Premiere editing projects, then we have footage, audio, music, titles, graphics, all of these things. So I always make sure that before I even begin, everything is organized. That way everything can be found very easily. And even if you download new things, like download music, I like to kind of organize them by genre. This is not necessary, but I like to do it because it helps me find each music quicker. So let's open up the project. This one, we're gonna go with the ice cream. We use a program called Adobe Premiere Pro. This program is very easy to use in my opinion, and I would recommend it to beginners as well. There are other programs like Avid, Final Cut Pro, all these other editing programs, and I've worked with all of them, but to me personally, Premiere has been the easiest and currently my favorite because that's what I'm using right now. To go back to organizing, how I start the project is make sure I have all these bins over here. All these bins made and they're organized, that way I don't get lost. So even within audio, I have location audio, music, voiceover, and graphics here with like stock footage that we use. This one had penguins as the main animals. Yeah, bunch of penguin footage. When you open a project, you want it to be organized. You want to be able to find whatever you're looking for right away, because if it takes you forever to find something, then the whole editing process is going to be so slow. So when I get a project, I would get a project that looks like this. So our assistant editor Will would prep this project and give it to me. So all these footages are synced with the audio. So the first thing I do when I receive a project is pull selects. So this is the pre-thoughts when they first do introductions of whatever they want to say. Then here's the judge introduction. This is Zach and Ned cooking. And this is Keith and Eugene cooking. And what I really like to do, and this is a tip for you guys in organization, is color coding. I like to color code it so that when you're editing and when you have a big sequence at the end like this, you can kind of go find, okay, this is the baking section or this is the judging section. You can know by color instead of looking through the whole thing. So after you color code, you will pull selects, and pulling selects means that you go through the entire footage and pull out the things, literally pull up and down the things that you think are good for the video. So pulling selects alone can take 1 to 2 days. If I like this section, I would cut it out, pull it up, and that would be something I selected. So I do that for everything, for each sections. And after the selects are pulled, then I start the edit. Let's go to cut 1. This is how the first cut looked. It's not complete. Since we have deadlines, we have to put in a certain cut, a first cut by some day. So usually that day is not enough for me to finish the entire cut. With the colors, you can already tell what's going on. So the orange color, it's called mango in Premiere. So the mango color is the judges. So we first introduce the judges. So I color coded by their own colors. So Eugene is purple, so this is Eugene. This is Keith. This is Ned, this is Zach. And throughout the video, there's the expert explaining how to make it, which you can see in orange. So this is why you see the color coding is very important. So you can find it right away wherever you're looking for. Also, second tip that I want to give you guys is this checkerboard. It's called checkerboarding the audio, which means, as you can see, I have each section kind of like that. It's like a checker. And the purpose of this is L cut, J cutting. I don't know if you guys heard of it, but it's basically overlapping two audio so it doesn't look like really choppy. So whenever, let's say, Eugene's talking here and Ned's talking here, it is kind of overlapped at the beginning and the end. You start hearing Ned before Eugene's done talking. So checkerboarding is my second tip, and I really recommend it. It will make everything sound so much smoother, and obviously add this like fades in every audio so it doesn't seem super choppy. Also, this project was big because it had 6 cameras, or sometimes 7 or 8, and they were all multi-cams. Each section has multiple cameras on it, and I can toggle by clicking 1, 2, 3, 4 on my keyboard. So the first camera is this one, close up on Eugene. Second camera is kind of a medium shot of both Eugene and Keith. Third shot is Keith. Fourth is a wider version of 2 of them. 5 is the GoPro on top of Eugene, and 6 is GoPro on top of Keith. I toggle between all these cameras. I just kind of go through it as I edit. So this part needs the close up on what Zach's doing, so I go here, but I could cut it here and show him talking in the wide. So sometimes I find myself duplicating the same area but just using different angles of it because 2 different things could be happening at the same time. So I have around 2 days to do this after pulling select, so it's a pretty tight deadline for Without a Recipe for such a big project. So I usually get around halfway for the first cut. So I send it out, and we have this thing called Frame.io where the guys leave notes, and I can show you. We didn't have that many notes because it was still only a half cut, but you can see they leave notes here, and I check them when I do them. So you can see the second cut is a lot fuller. So this is a full cut. The second cut is typically a full cut. I have maybe like 3 more days for this, so it's not that much of a time. So here I'm gonna introduce you my third tip, since we have the whole cut right now. My third tip to you is to have a clear beginning, middle, and end. It can be kind of an obvious thing, but when you're editing a big project, it's hard to see where it really begins and where it ends. And another organizing tip is to put all the music in specific locations. So I put it in these 2 lines. That way I can find the music easily, and I put the sound effects a little above them. Maybe you want to just change the music or mute the music at some point, and you can just select this. So after you submit cut 2, you can see I will have more notes by the guys. And these are all like, you know, what to include, what to take out, what kind of graphics to edit. And we had a final cut in the 4th one, which was the lock cut. So this cut, after it's approved by the guys, this will go out to our assistant editor, Will, again. He will color correct it. He will do the sound mix, final sound mix, and this will go live. So what you can see right now on the YouTube channel. And my final tip when you see this is to watch each section over and over again and experiment. I like to watch it once I'm done with maybe a 2-minute, 3-minute section. Watch it again over and over and see if it really works, because sometimes you can try out new things and it might work better. If you want to change something drastically, duplicate the sequence so you can try some things, and if it doesn't work, you can go back to the older one, but if it works, then that's great. So always experiment. That's really the key to improving your skills in editing, because then you have to practice, and practicing is key for editing. And it turned out really well. It took a long time and it was really stressful, but it was a really fun process, and I'm really proud of this monster timeline. Finally, I'm gonna go over the 4 tips again because they're very important. Number 1, organize. That's the most important tip, and that could mean the bins, all the bins here, or in the folder itself, organize it in different sections. Color code, that's a big thing in organizing. Music in one line, certain sequences in one line. And number 2, tile formation audio, this checker format audio. Obviously, it's not necessary and a lot of people don't do it, but I found that it's great to have smoother audio transition and just smoother editing in general. Third tip, to have a clear beginning, body, and ending. And my 4th and last tip, watch each section over and over again and make changes, experiment if you have to, because that will help you edit. So it's a lot of process to get to this step. And once it's up, and you guys get to see it, and yeah, that's how it works. Over a month, I've been working on Without a Recipe on the cookies and ice cream episode, and I'm so glad it's out now, and I hope you guys enjoy it. So now I'm gonna answer some of your questions that I haven't yet, that you left on my Instagram.